here with Apple Valley Farm. Today in our cornhole board building series, we're going to get into how to drill the holes for your legs. Now, if you've built your own cornhole boards, then you know that that can be problematic. The whole leg system is probably the most complicated part. Everything else is really pretty straightforward, pretty boxy. This gets a little complicated. There are a lot of different methods for making sure your leg setup is just right. For us, all of our legs are from one template, so they're all the same. So that means we need to make sure we drill the hole for our leg assembly exactly the same in every frame. And that's only doable with a jig. We've got a little jig that we've come up with over the years. It's really simple. I'm going to share that with you, and I'm going to show you how we use it. Really easy, really quick, and this might be something that might make your cornhole board building a little easier, maybe even a little better, maybe a little bit of both. I will leave a link to the plans for this jig down in the notes, and then maybe you can grab that if you're so inclined and use it or modify it or whatever you need to do to make it work for you. All right, with that, let's see if we can beat this heat a little bit, and let's get to it. All right, here we go. Okay, so our leg hole jig, I guess if that's what we want to call it, it's a two-part system. Now one is just a little 2-inch spacer, and that goes in this corner right here, and I'll explain that a little more as we go. Then we've got this that goes on the outside of the frame. This hole is exactly where I want the hole drilled in the frame for the outside. This is going to go on the outside left of the frame. So I'm going to do that. This means this is the top of it. This means that, or the top of this thing. This means that this is the front of the board. Does that all make sense? I hope it does. Anyway, this goes on the left. Now, as you'll see as I flip this over, this is the right, okay? So left, it goes over here. When I put it on the right, I just pick it up and transfer it right over, and then this is showing on the outside. That way I always make sure I have it oriented correctly. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's pretty easy. That hole's just in the middle of the board this way. No, it's not actually. It's not quite in the middle. And it's not quite 1 inch here. It's exactly the way we need it to be for our leg design to make sure that the top of our board sits exactly 12 inches above the ground, which is regulation height. So this, if I put this on this side and drill the hole, and then I don't move it straight over to the other side exactly oriented the same way, the holes will be off, or I should say the holes will be off a little bit, and then the leg system will sit all cockeyed and it won't fold in smoothly and evenly. So this is really, really important to make sure that we get the spacing right for the pivot point for the legs and the height from the board so that everything moves out just so. Let's do one really quickly. I'll show you, and then you can see how it works, okay? Okay, now this is our pretty standard leg design right here. And I won't get into the details of that just yet, but this is our standard leg design. Now, if I put this in here, well, we don't want it to run all the way up there. It needs to be spaced back off a little bit, so when it pivots, it comes right out and it sits right there, and then the board face is exactly 12 inches off the ground. So, I've got a little spacer. This is exactly 2 inches. Put this in there, slide this up. Now that guy is exactly where it needs to be. Now we'll take this and we're going to move it to the outside of our frame, put it here, make it flush there. Now, as you can see, this hole is going to go right through there. Look at that. And that's going to be a perfect placement for that hole. So I'm gonna clamp this in place and drill a hole. Now everything is clamped together. Nothing's going anywhere. Now I'll take my drill, and this is a 3/8 inch bit. Actually, this is my Craig pocket hole drilling bit, and it works perfectly for this. It's a 3/8 inch bit. Put it right in here. Make sure the drill is relatively level and straight. And that's it. Unclamp it. Do it over to the other side. Now watch. Let me see if I can do this with both hands, with just one hand. Now I'm gonna leave this in the same position. Pick it up, move right over here to the outside of this, okay? And when I do that, now it's saying the right, the top, the front. Push this here, move my spacer block over, clamp, drill again, and then these two holes will be perfectly aligned. All right, super duper easy. Super simple. We have used this specific jig right here on hundreds of sets of cornhole boards over the years. This is the only one I've ever had, and we have used the fire out of it. In hindsight, and for the next one that we do, now this one's lasted me 3 years like this, but the next one we do, we'll probably put an aluminum bushing in here, some kind of an insert in here, some kind of a sacrificial insert that's exactly 3/8 of an inch, so we can run our bit into it and it won't worm this out. So, you know, it makes sure that everything is exactly straight and aligned every time, not even off a 1/16 of an inch. That's what I would suggest doing. That's what we will do the next time. But this has worked like a charm, and if you're not building hundreds of boards, you probably don't even need to do that. I hope that helps a lot. When we get together the next time, we will build our leg assembly, and I'll show you how we do that with our leg assembly building jig. Thanks a lot. Hope you have a great day. Take care. See you next time.